Hello again. This is Sam Houston, and welcome to My Front Porch. What is wrong with people? This past week, I had a very interesting experience, one that still makes my head shake. The Hood County News is located at 1501 South Morgan Street, and to the south of the building is a large paved parking lot, which is also part of the property. It was once the home of a restaurant which burned down many years ago. It's a private lot and not open to the public. In the past, there would occasionally be a semi-truck which would pull into the lot when a driver was looking for a place to park their rig. When discovered, I would politely approach the driver and let them know the lot was not a public parking area. The driver would apologize for their intrusion and then leave. No harm, no foul. Denying parking was not a matter of being unfriendly. It's a matter of big trucks potentially damaging the pavement and the liability of having unauthorized vehicles on the lot. There have been multiple occasions, one as recently as a couple of months ago, where a rig turned into the parking lot because of a mechanical issue. When I approached the driver to inform them that they were trespassing, but was told of the situation, I graciously allowed the rig to stay in the lot for a short period of time until the issue could be resolved. After all, sometimes a person's in trouble and needs a little grace, and I was happy to provide it. I've driven a lot of trucks and trailers, and when one breaks down, there's not a lot a guy can do but stop and resolve the issue. For about a month, a certain truck has been parked in the lot over the weekend and sometimes a little longer. I never saw the driver come and go. I just found the truck in the lot when I came to work on Saturday or a Sunday. I guess I could have called the police and had the truck removed or towed, but instead I'd simply catch the offending driver and let them know they weren't authorized to park on our lot. They would remove the truck, and that would be the end of it. One day this week, the familiar truck pulled in the lot, and I could see what was happening from my office window. I immediately left my desk and went out the front door and walked to the driver's side window. The driver noticed me, and I advised him the parking lot was not for public use, that he'd need to find another place to park. I told him I would appreciate it if he'd move his rig. The man looked at me with sort of a puzzled look and said, "I didn't see a sign." And I told him, well, whether he saw a sign or not, I had authority over the property, and he would need to move his truck. That sounds simple enough, doesn't it? I wasn't mad, nor did I raise my voice. I simply told the man he had no authority to park where he was parking, and he would need to move. Wouldn't you think that would be the end of it? Well, the driver looked at me and said, "I don't know what I'm hurting parking here." I thought that was a rather presumptuous statement, as if he didn't damage anything, he could park wherever he wanted. I maintained my demeanor and said firmly, "You need to move your truck." This time the driver responded with, "Well, I've got no place else to park." I will admit his response started to place my nerves a little on edge. It was as if the ownership of the property didn't matter. It was all about whether it was convenient or best for him. I told him that seemed to be his problem and not mine, and then asked, "So I guess if I wanted to park my truck in your front yard of your house and leave it there because I couldn't find another parking place, you'd be okay with that?" The driver really didn't have a response to that question, but was clearly annoyed and simply didn't want to move. I felt like I'd done enough explaining. I told him that if he did not move the truck immediately, I would call the police and have it removed. At this point, he called me an inappropriate name. I will admit, I raised my voice in response, and the thoughts of wanting to haul his behind out of the truck and educate him on Texas property rights was nearly overwhelming. I think even more than raising my voice, I was amazed that someone who was clearly in the wrong and had no right to do what they were doing, and they simply refused to do the right thing. It was clear this driver felt like he was entitled to do whatever he wanted, when he wanted, whether he had the right or not. I admit that by that point I may have gotten pretty vocal and told him I was going inside to call the police. The driver started the truck and drove off, and that was the end of it. But the driver's attitude was something which, well, it stuck with me. I don't know when it happened or how, but now it seems as if a number of people are only concerned about how something affects them, and the heck with the needs, the rights, or the wants of someone else. I know I might sound like a grumpy old man wanting someone to stay off his grass, but really, is this what we've come to? Would he have felt better if I'd have boxed in his vehicle with company delivery vehicles so he couldn't leave? I'm trying to imagine if I was the driver and had parked in a place where I had no right to be and was told by the owner I needed to leave, what would I have done? My mama taught me better than the truck driver's mother taught him. Heaven help us all. Thought for the day. When a wise man is advised of his errors, he'll reflect on and improve his conduct. When his misconduct is pointed out, a foolish man will not only disregard the advice, but rather repeat the same error. Until next time, I'll keep riding the storm out.
You've been listening to From My Front Porch with Sam Houston, brought to you by the Granbury Theater Company. You can catch Sam's column every week in the print edition of the Hood County News or online at hcnews.com.